Hi there, I'm Rachel Sheldrick from the Workshop Whisperer and welcome to our YouTube training for this week. Today I'm going to be talking to you about the 3 M's. They are margins, markup and matrix. Now they have the ability to confuse many. Margins and markup are used interchangeably when they mean completely different things. And we are going to clear up the confusion for you today. Make sure you stay right to the end of the training though, so that you get a really good look at what you should be using for a matrix if you decide you're going to use one, and what to stay away from. Okay, so here we are today talking about margins, markups, and matrix. Now, when I have discussions with these things with our auto repair shop owners, there's a huge level of confusion. And that just stems from the fact that for most of you, you didn't get a formal financial education before you came into your shop. Many of you are trade qualified technicians, and we know there's kind of no room for this kind of stuff in your apprenticeship. So you've got to learn on the job, and if the shop owner that you were apprenticed under doesn't have a good handle on the financial side of the business, it was unlikely that you had a good role model there to learn things from and then take them into your own business. So today we're going to break markup and margins down for you, and we're going to have a chat about parts matrix. Now let's just come up with some very basic definitions first of all. So let's start with markup. So when we're talking about markup, we're actually talking about revenue. So margin, on the other hand, is actually about profit. Now, profit, we don't want that to change, but the markup on the product or service that we're talking about can be variable depending on its cost price. Okay, so markup is about revenue, it's about dollars, and margin is about profit, specifically gross profit. So as you can see from the graphic, it's quite clear that our markup is our gross profit divided by the cost of the job that gives us our markup result. Our margin, on the other hand, is about the gross profit divided by sales, and that gives us our profit percentage on that job. Now, here's where the confusion comes in, and I often will hear people talk about the margin they got on that part, when what they're actually referring to is the markup that they put on that part. And you can see here from this little table, you should have something like this readily available for you next to your computer where you do all of your pricing, because as different parts come in or you add a different service offering, you need to make sure that the markup you're applying, so the dollars that you're applying to the cost, is enough for you to achieve your desired profit margin. So if we consistently miss our desired profit margin, then overall our business isn't going to have the money flowing through it that it needs in order to pay the team, to pay all of your operating expenses, and most importantly, to pay you. So you can see from our little graphic here that it's really a case of simple formulas that will help you to achieve your desired profit margin. So we need to mark something up by 100% in order to get a profit margin of 50%. So if you've got a basic part and you're not putting enough dollars on top of the cost price, you're not going to achieve your desired 50% profit margin. Why is 50% gross profit desirable? Well, that's smack bang in the middle of the benchmark that tells us that you are a healthy, profitable auto repair shop. So that benchmark is between 48 and 52% gross profit. So you need to make sure that all of the pricing, if it's all pre-done in your invoicing software, is set so that you know everything is going to help you achieve at least a 50% profit margin. If you currently don't work that way and you guess what by how many dollars you should mark up your price in order to achieve your profit margin, I guarantee you are getting it wrong most of the time. You might win in a couple of cases on the really lower price stuff, but it's not enough to help you do anything other than break even. So remember, it's pretty simple. Markup is about dollars, it's about revenue. Margin is about profit, and specifically gross profit. Now let's have a quick chat about matrix and parts matrix at that. These can go horribly wrong, and they can ensure that you don't make any money on your more expensive jobs. Now there are thousands and thousands of examples of parts matrix on the internet. I offer you a word of caution here. If you're going to download one, that you actually really look into what it's telling you to do at the higher cost for your more expensive parts like engines and things like that. So yes, the general school of thought is that the more expensive it is, the less markup and margin should be achieved. But I ask you the simple question of why? Why should you make less money because the part is more expensive to purchase in the first place? Your customer still needs the part, they still need the job done, they're still using you with all of your years of experience, all of your critical skill that you have gained. That all still needs to be paid for. Why should you make less money on a more expensive job? So here's an example of a parts matrix that does go too far, I think, at the top end in winding back what you could be marking up and getting as a margin. So take a close look at this one so that, if you go searching for something on the internet, that you don't end up with one like this. And here's one which I think is much better in helping you as a guide to achieve the margins that we want. So remember, overall, we're looking for a gross profit margin of something 50% and above. So if you're anywhere from 48% to 52%, as I said, that's a solid result. But obviously, any extra couple of percent that we can, carve out for ourselves here is going to make a huge difference to the amount of money sitting on the bottom line and available for you to take home. So obviously on your smaller things, your lower cost things, you should be achieving 250, 300% mark up. And as you move through the pricing categories there, obviously, we bring it into perspective, but you've got to make sure that you know what your desired gross profit result is that you want to achieve so that you can keep measuring if you're hitting that on your jobs. If you hit and miss and all over the place, and some jobs you make a 20% profit and some jobs you make a 50% profit, overall that's going to pull your results somewhere down around 35%, and that is not enough for you to make a profit overall, get all your bills paid, your team paid, and have some for you. So I hope that clears a couple of those things up. As always, if you know you need help with your finances, with your team, with growing your business, with achieving the lifestyle that you want from your auto repair shop, please don't hesitate to click the link under this YouTube video and book in for a chat with us. We're ready to help. Have a great week, and I look forward to seeing you again next week.